See, Schulte closed.
Mm-hmm.
Schulte closed. That was the high school. Yeah, I think it closed shortly after St. Margaret Mary, maybe a year or two later.
Mm-hmm.
St. Margaret Mary would have had to have closed, let's see, 74, 75, 70. I think St. Margaret Mary closed in 1977.
Not the year I was born.
Get out of here. I knew better. I knew that was true. Wow. Wow.
When it closed, that's the year I was born.
You're barely out of kindergarten, aren't you?
No, I'm old now, so it's
no,
okay.
yeah, right. Let me tell you, old. So I would say that Schulte closed 78-9, and that was another upheaval.
Yeah.
Kind of sorts.
Yeah.
So Father Didi went through some tough waters.
Really?
I mean, in all fairness to him, those were not easy calls, because it's like everything else. Not everybody's happy.
Yeah, you're good though. Like when you do reverse raffle.
Yeah, I don't mind doing that stuff. I mean, it's fun. I think I'm looking at it for all the right reasons.
Especially when you do the auction.
Oh, that's crazy. that was a new
new talent.
Well, no, that was a new dimension to the auction.
Yeah.
There have been stair steps of that auction, our raffle, from where it first started. We'll probably get into
we'll talk about that. Yeah,
I mean, it has evolved
a lot
over the years.
Yeah, because I remember.
But it's still, the nuts and bolts are still pretty close to the same.
Because I remember when I first started, you also went to the Apple Club.
Yes. So you've been here a good while.
Yeah, 2000. When did it start?
1986.
Oh yeah, I was here 2003.
Okay, well in 2002, 3. Oh yeah, it was still at the Holiday Inn, but where it began. That was the first venue.
Yeah.
They did a magnificent job. There's no question about it. But things, we probably shifted at the right time. It was not an easy decision to do that, and we weren't upset with the Holiday Inn. I mean, they were wonderful people. Joyce and Bill Burdine, not Verdine, but Burdine. They were. He was the innkeeper, and she was the event. She being his wife, she was the event coordinator and all that stuff. And boy, she was spot on. We switched. We've probably been at the country club for maybe 10 years.
Really?
I'm guessing. I don't know. Maybe. Time gets away,
And then
it's hard to say 2 or 3, and all of a sudden you realize it's been 13. Because time.
The country club. I mean, the country club is also.
Oh, it's fabulous.
Yeah.
It's fabulous. It's actually a way better venue in the long run. But see, change is scary at times when you don't really quite know, and especially when it ain't bad the way it is, so to speak. So it's evolved, not only just the venue, but some of the ways that we.
Because I remember. I don't think there's like first there was the silent auction. And then just that, and then the reverse raffle.
Yeah, and then we added the dimension of the live, and there was a reason for that. There was a reason for that. What we were trying to do was make up for the lost revenue from the car giveaway. That was a big deal. That came about. Well, we'll get into that, but it came about due to trying to kind of hone in on making the 30th. Annual, something special.
For the car.
So we kicked all that around, different things to do. And I had grown up in a parish where there was an annual event each year called the Fancy Farm Picnic. It's in the Guinness Book as the world's largest picnic. They still have it today after 145 years.
Wow.
And they raised $300,000 for the parish in one day.
Wow.
One day. Done and gone. Done and gone, 300,000. Done and gone. Yeah. Now it's attended by 20,000, 25,000 people, food, politicians,
So from different parishes then? From different
No, one parish. One parish
really?
only. One parish only.
Wow.
A town the size of like 350 people. And it's 99% Catholic.
Oh.
But we
in Kentucky?
Western Kentucky, down near Paducah. So, but everyone's invited to come to this. So people come from all over, and class reunions take place, and so it's kind of a time to get back, see family and friends that still live in the area.
It runs for what, like a whole weekend or like a whole week?
Friday night and Saturday, but it's the main focus is Saturday. But anyway, we give away a car, so we sell right, and that's how that all came about. Was we kept bantering around, and I'll be honest, I was really pushing for the car because I just felt like it would work, and it was scary because you have to commit to buying a car. $18,000. It was a small compact car, but it was a nice little car, and wow, it just it was slow going for a while, but then we had 5 or 6 people step up and kind of do a special sponsorship where they committed some funds to it, and that took it over the top. So we cleared about, I'm guessing now here, not guessing, but I'm going from memory, maybe $15,000.
Oh, really? For a return investment?
After we paid for the car,
really?
15,000 clear.
More? Oh, wow.
So the scary part of that was now how do we make that up? The next year, can't giving away a car because we panicked over that. And Father Rick. So let me think.
No, it was Father Dan already.
Well, but Father Rick okayed it. He was still the pastor
then.
See, this thing kicked off 9 months before. We kicked it off early, the ticket sales on the car, because we were nervous that we couldn't do that in 3 months like we do this, the $100 deal.
Yeah.
So when Father Dan came in July, we were already committed. So Dan had to listen to and go, and he already, I'm sure Father Rick told him about the raffle and all that and how it worked.
When Father Dan started too, said, I'm going to get along with whatever is already
I don't know how you get that much wisdom as a 28-year-old guy. But
he's 32 now.
I know, but he was 28 when he came. I don't know how you get that smart at 28 years old. I really don't. I've told him that. I don't know what you are, but something special. Something special. Because how it would. He was so mature beyond his years. He still is. But can you imagine 28?
He's guided by the Holy Spirit.
Oh, somebody's guiding him. Better knows more than we do.
The thing, there's more guys that are older than him, and then he's handling 2 parishes. So it's amazing.
I don't know how he does it. I really don't, and I think we all say that, not just us, but we all do. But yeah, he bit right into it, and he grasped the concept of it immediately, and man, go, do it. And so yeah, and the carve thing worked out, and as it turned out, but then we didn't know how we'd replace that, and we really didn't, except the live auction kind of came in, and
so
that's how the live auction came about. Was a spring off of that.
Okay, so are we ready, Doc? Are you been ready? Okay.
Oh,
so
I was hoping you were running that. He probably was.
Yeah.
He'd do that, not tell us.
When did you become a member of the parish? Like 1974?
1974. As I recall, Jane and I and a 1-year-old and 3-year-old attended our first liturgy here. It was that first weekend in February of 1974.
Did you just come because it's nearby your house, or?
Well, no, we didn't. Actually, a neighbor, Nancy Meyer.
Oh.
Nancy Meyer stopped in to wish us, welcome us to the neighborhood, and so immediately when she learned we were Catholic, well, you know Nancy, if you know Nancy,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, she said, well, you can come to our parish at St. Margaret Mary.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to go downtown to St. Joe's. So maybe we went to St. Joe's, not knowing, we just went downtown and went, maybe that first weekend. But very, very quickly, within a week or so, we were here.
Okay.
And so.
And who was the parish priest then at that time?
Father John Deedy.
Father John Deedy, okay.
Mm-hmm.
What do you remember of him?
Oh, Father John hit me. He moved around kind of quietly. Mm-hmm. He wasn't real loud. You could just tell immediately that he was very intelligent. So he was kind of the spokesman type person. He was mm-hmm. kind of, you know, the word, so to speak. So I liked that about him, and it was obvious that the parishioners thought a lot of him. Mm-hmm. And you know, I can't remember, Marianne, how long he had been here when we got here in '74, but you know, the records would show that he was here a few years.
Yeah, he was, I think, the longest, right?
I think so.
The longest so far.
Yeah. So. You know, we just fit right in, and you know, the school was here, and we got to know people pretty quickly.
So were you involved then, when you started?
Well,
as involved as you are now?
Probably pretty quick. Well, no. I kind of let that rest a minute. I didn't jump right in mm-hmm. at all. Mm-hmm. But I think what I remember the most, what Jane and I both remember the most about St. Margaret Mary earlier on was, you know, and we hear it all the time in his tongue, and you just think, well, it's the same old statement all over again. But it's really true that the people here then, as now, were just friendly. They were just easy to talk to. So I think that we just got comfortable here very quickly. Mm-hmm. Before long, it was like, you know, we couldn't remember when we didn't belong. So we never gave it a thought as to where we would attend Sunday liturgy. It was going to be here.
Mm-hmm. So where was the church at? Here?
It was right here. It was flipped.
Oh, it was a different orientation.
Yes. Yeah, so the altar and all of the sacristy, all of that was up front here, mm-hmm. and it was a traditional layout of church. Mm-hmm. Those were the two main entrances mm-hmm. then. Mm-hmm. This one was used still, but you kind of seemed to enter from the back of the church and mm-hmm. come in. Mm-hmm. But these doors were still here like they are today. Mm-hmm. They were there then. And so it was a traditional layout church. The cry room was very active. Mm-hmm. The choir, it was all open. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That loft was mm-hmm. open. And it just filled up. There were, as I recall, there were 2 masses on Sunday. Uh-huh. I know there were 2 masses on Sunday and one on Saturday afternoon. Mm-hmm. And of course, Father John managed one parish, obviously. There was no mm-hmm. 2 hats there.
And the school.
And the school was still, was still something to have to take care of. Mm-hmm. So he was juggling that. And so that wasn't an easy job mm-hmm. Either. No, not at all.
So what did you think after the changes then?
Oh, I love the changes. I love them. We all like them. Most of us, I think, liked them. You know, there was a little bit of push on the no-kneeler thing, I believe. Mm-hmm. But I remember when this happened, it was like, oh my gosh, what do we do? But Father John, he had already recognized what we needed to do, and that was find a place to worship. Mm-hmm. And so I believe it's the First Methodist Church just down the street. Mm-hmm. They welcomed us there. So we had liturgies there for, I forget how long, but it was for a period of time mm-hmm. because it took some time to do this. Mm-hmm. But when we re-entered the new worship space, it was laid out much like you see it here today. Mm-hmm.
Also, Now, so your kids, you mentioned that they went to school here, right?
They went to, Jennifer went here as long as she could until the school closed. So then her 3rd grade year she went to Dixie B. And Stephanie was just starting kindergarten then. So she went to kindergarten at Dixie B the first year that she went to school from daycare, going to daycare.
Did your kids also receive sacraments here in
They
church?
They did. Both received, you know, First Communion and confirmation and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, Marianne, I remember this too, now that you asked that question. Jennifer and, oh gosh, her friend, I think her name was Janet Carney.
Mm-hmm.
But it was Joe and Barbara Carney's daughter, Janet.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure it was Janet.
Okay.
They were good friends in school. They were the first two female altar persons.
Oh, really?
I can't say altar boy because they're girls. Yes, and I think I'm not out of school here by saying that I think Father John may have pushed the envelope a little bit on that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure he got that blessed particularly.
Oh, really?
I'm not sure he did. Father John could get on the edge a little bit. You know, he would do some things that you would think, well, gee whiz, you know, maybe a younger priest would have done that. But Father John would. Father John always did what he felt was best. Mm-hmm. And that was best. You know, so. Jennifer was served as an altar girl for a few years. I don't recall exactly how long, but for a while. Yeah.
Did they have their wedding here?
Well, that's another story. No, they neither one did.
Ah.
And it was not because that they wouldn't have at all.
Mm-hmm.
It was because, you know, young brides then, like probably today, want that long aisle that takes you down. And so St. Joe's had the long aisle. So guess where we went for the long aisle? St. Joe's. Yeah. And it worked out fine. Mm-hmm. I believe that when Stephanie got married, which was also at St. Joe's, I think that was Father John Deede's last wedding to reside over.
Oh, really?
I do believe it was. It was his final marriage.
Before he retired?
Before he retired.
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost certain of that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but it was those were at St. Joe's.
So, because you were the brainchild of the Reverse Raffle, how did it come about?
Oh gosh, that's a kind statement. Quickly, how that came about. You know, I guess by then, '86, I'm sure I was already doing some parish council, finance, maybe was on the finance committee, and or both, I can't remember exactly. I think I may have been on the finance committee. So, finance committee, trying to figure out finances. And we didn't have any really big fundraisers, maybe then. I know we had fundraisers, but maybe not to that magnitude. And a high school friend, well, a kid from growing up in the small town we grew up in, and going to Catholic church and Catholic school. So I knew this kid from the ground up, and we remained friends out of high school into college, and remained friends, couple friends after Jane and I were married, and Norman and Diane got married. Well, Norman, my good friend Norman, who happened to have the last name Cash, but we were not related hardly at all. We're just close friends. We were chatting one day, and at the time he and Diane lived in Bowling Green, Kentucky. And he talked about this fundraiser. He said, you got to try this. And they were going to come visit us a couple weekends after that. So I said, well, bring all the stuff with you to tell me how to, let's talk about it. So they spent that weekend. We had a great time, as we always did when we got together. Back then, and still do to this day. So he brought all the nuts and bolts of this, he called it Reverse Raffle, dinner and raffle. And I said, my gosh, that might work. And now this was late November, December of '85.
1985.
And believe it or not, we pulled off, it took a bunch of us. We pulled off the first raffle that next March.
Oh, wow.
I never forget it. We were scared to death. So
where was the first one at?
It was at the Holiday Inn.
Yeah, that was where the venue started there.
It started there. It stayed there for many years. I'll never forget, and I've told this I've made this statement several times when we talk about this, and Father John Deedy, he got nervous one day. We stayed nervous the whole time. And one day he called, and I stopped by and we chatted in the rectory, right, the same rectory as it is today. And he goes, "Who's going to underwrite this thing?" Kind of tongue in cheek. I said, "Well, you know, I think he thought maybe I'd say, 'Oh, I will.' Well, I could." I said, "We are, Father, the church. I mean, we got to make it work."
Yeah.
He said, "Boy," I said, "This is what we signed up for. We'll be okay. We'll be okay." And there were a lot of, I'm trying to remember some of the first committee. I do recall clearly Dr. Boris Imperial was a parishioner here, Filipino, one of the first Filipinos in the parish, and he served on that first committee that first year. He was really a gem of a guy, sweetheart guy, and he stayed positive, and he was a big help that first year. So he stands out the most to me. Boris and his wife, Imperial, I think was her name. The records would show, of course, you know, he's long since, you know, moved from the parish. He retired and moved, I'm not sure, I forget where, but we just made it work, and it did work. We didn't sell all 300 tickets, but we sold 170.
How much was the ticket then?
It was $100.
Still $100? Yeah.
And the dinner cost was about $10.
Oh, really?
Today it's $28, $30. Yeah.
So after that, I mean, it's been how many years now?
Well, we're coming up on, I believe, the 34th year.
34th year.
Or, yeah, 34th. Yes. Yes. Last year was 33.
Yeah. So how has it evolved?
Well, you know, that's a good question. My good friend Norman, he would constantly remind me when this would come up. You know, you start getting the urge to want to change something. How can you make it better? What can you? And he used to always caution. He said, "If it's not broke, don't try to fix it. Don't change a lot of things about it." So we didn't for a long time. We stuck close to the vest. Yeah. I do remember one of the first changes we made that was kind of significant, and I recall who kind of brought this up and pushed it was Ted Lim. He was on the committee for a few years, and he came up with the idea of why don't we tier it and try to make it more exciting, because what was happening, we were finding out that everybody just wanted to automatically split 2, 2, 2, 2 the last 5, and that's fine. That was one of the options that I learned from the other parish. So Ted said, "We got to change something up. Let's see what we can do different." So he thought of that, and we kind of kicked it around. And by then, I think Greg Roth was on the committee, and Greg was good. He was helpful. Greg was kind of conservative. He was of that old school, don't change it. If it's not broke, don't fix it. So but we did change that, and so we tiered it so that it would give the 5 a chance to still win money, but it would be tiered 1,000, 15, whatever, and the last person out would win 5,000. And the first year that as I recall that we did that, the group chose that as the way to share the money. So so that was one of the first kind of notable changes. Yeah, was that. And then the biggest change that happened was the price of the meal kept going up. You know, that was not a good change, but it was a realistic change. It had to happen. Yeah. And so we would talk from time to time, well, do we do this or do we do that? And we'd say, yeah, leave it alone. Yeah. But then I think maybe the next change was the silent auction. And that became a little different part of it that I think was helpful. Yeah. And then we'd always think, well, should we have music? Should we maybe have a band? And then we thought, nah, it's too complicated. We're going to get too much going, and you know, we'll lose sight of the thing about this was then, and I think it still is today. Here were the 2 or 3 components of it that I think that we still gain from today. One was, it was not just St. Margaret Mary. Now that was great that it was a big part of it, but there were enough people attending from outside the parish, from people of other faiths. So it was really kind of a time to shine, to really show, you know, what you were about and how you would conduct yourself and how you would, you know, try to make it work and people feel like they were having fun and everything was being done above board and fair and you know, feel good about it. And so it kind of showcased our parish. So we always, so that was a big, I mean, obviously you raise money and you want to make a profit from your fundraisers, and you know, that was always a given that we were going to do that. We were blessed with people who were generous, and they would buy tickets, they would help sell tickets. You know, we never had a problem with people being on the committee, and that changed over the years. Obviously, people move and pass away and things like that. But so it was cohesive. It stuck. It stayed together. To the point where, and this would have been when Father Ron was here as our pastor. I got this request one day from some friends of St. Joseph Parish. They wanted to do this.
Yeah, I think they're doing it now, right?
Oh yes, they are. Yeah, they've not missed a lick since they started it 20 years ago. Oh yeah. So they came to me and asked if I would, if I thought we, the parish, would share our motto with them, because they were nervous about how to do it. And, you know, so I remember clearly talking with Father Ron about that in the committee, and we immediately said, you know, we're all one. Sure, we help them. But there's a bit of competition there too, as we all know, between the parishes. I mean, I think there is. I sense that, and that's okay. So we did help them, and I think they've been successful with theirs as well, and I think they followed our model pretty closely.
Do they go to the country club as
well? They do now. They followed us there. You know, so well, they were smart not to try to reinvent the wheel. We kind of helped them get it started. So why not use, you know, the same pattern? Yeah. So I think they've done well with theirs.
So they also sell like 300 tickets as well?
300, the same $100, 300 tickets. I'm pretty sure it's the same. I don't know about if they do a silent auction or a live auction.
I think they do.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Because I think they mentioned that, you know, that dinner with Father Dan.
Oh yeah.
I said, oh, they earn more when they have the dinner with Father Savio because they have like $600 or something like that.
Oh.
You know? So somebody mentioned it to me because he was. I mean, we were on the same table.
Right.
With
oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, that dinner with Father Dan's a fun thing.
Yeah, it was the Pickering who.
Yes, and they invited Jane and I to join them, and it was kind of a funny story there. It was because, oddly enough, Andy and Janet were married on June 7th, same as Jane and I. And not only June 7th, but June 7th of 1969. Now I'm going to date myself pretty quickly here. But 1969. And so we always would kid each other after we learned that. Oh, where are you going for your anniversary dinner this year? Where are you going? You know. So that night when Janet and Andy were the high bid on that, I recall, and at the time I didn't catch it. Andy raised his hand. He's, Dave, I got a question. And Father Father Dan was right over to the side there near him, and he said, Andy said, well, do you think we could do that for a dinner for 4 instead of 2?
Yeah. Oh.
And I said, well, I don't know. Father Dan's right here. Let's ask him. And Father Dan said, well, sure.
And so it was you and Jane then.
And he wanted to do that so he could invite us to dinner. So it all worked out. So,
did you have fun then? Did you?
Oh, we did. It was hosted here at Father Dan's house. And we had a great 2.5, 3 hours of conversing, and we talked about everything you can imagine.
That's good.
And so it was a fun night. Yeah, it was. So I would highly urge in 2020 for everyone to realize how much fun that would be if they're the high bidder. So I'm trying to raise more money now. So I'm guilty.
The concert was really good.
The concept was good. So so did they come up with the concept?
I don't know.
St. Joe's?
I don't know, but they said that they have that dinner with the pastor too.
Yeah. Well,
so I don't know if they have.
I'm not sure how it came about.
Yeah.
But it's a great idea. It's a great idea.
It is so.
Particularly when it's Father Dan, you can have dinner with. He's fun to have dinner with. Yeah.
So after the silent auction, then we had the car raffle for the 30th anniversary.
Well, that came out of the committee earlier on, going, we got to really do something big for the 30th year to kind of recognize that. So we said, yeah, maybe that does make sense. So we started meeting on that, and we started brainstorming, and everybody brought in different ideas from, a cash giveaway to a cruise to, things like that, which were all fun. And so, but I will admit I kind of pushed the car idea a little bit because of the experiences that I'd seen from my parish as a child. And I knew how people would buy those tickets like crazy because, the idea of winning a new car is just kind of exciting. The odds are probably not very good, but it is what it is. So everyone got on board with that car pretty quickly. It was the highest ticket item we could have come up with, by the way. But it worked. And so, but I don't think anyone was anxious to say, let's do that again, including Father Dan. I'm not sure he would have. I'm not sure he would have voted that, or he would have. He probably would have. He's going to.
Are we expecting something big for the centennial then? From the Reverse Raffle
I
committee?
don't know. Stay tuned. I don't know.
There's something brewing there already?
Well, I'll be honest, we have not talked about that, but we'll have our kickoff in January, mid to late January, and we'll have our first meeting prior to that. Obviously, we probably will have that in December, or maybe late November. So stay tuned.
They said being in the committee is it's so nice because you only have to attend one meeting one meeting in a year or something. I kind of hate meetings. To tell you the truth, we all do, and you're busy and all that. I don't mean that literally, but you know what I mean. Meetings are just, there's a lot of meetings. So we've kind of always tried to promise ourselves and new committee people coming on from time to time, look, here's the deal. You get involved. You got a couple things that we want you to try to do. And it's real simple. Make sure you buy tickets and sell as many tickets. The key to this whole thing is selling the tickets. The rest is work, but it takes care of itself. The heat is off when you get the tickets. I think what we would come up with new or different, I'm not sure. But what was the most memorable Reverse Raffle event you've could ever remember on top of your head? The first one?
Thanks for helping me with that because that's exactly right. The first one, yes, it would have been the first one, and the relief.
After.
Gosh, it worked. What's kind of, you got to be careful, is that when the last 5 numbers in the barrel are left, you got to hope that those match up.
Oh yeah.
That with the ones that haven't been pulled out, that you haven't misread a number or something like that.
True.
So that's one of the reasons that we write those numbers down.
Yeah,
you know.
double check.
Yeah.
Did it ever? Well, when you first started, it wasn't that way, or you
it was that
started
way. It was that way. That was. We took that whole pattern from that parish down in Bowling Green.
So there was never any event where there was a mistake of a number being called, or somebody claimed that my number.
No.
That's good.
Oh yes, there could. And we would always breathe a sigh of relief when we would, we do that little pause right before we recognize the last five, and that's what we're doing is 32, 30, whatever the numbers are that are left, and hope that someone doesn't say, well, where's my number? It hasn't been called out. Now I think we have had a time or two where someone didn't realize their number had been called out, but it had. Actually, at the end of the day, the 5 numbers left are the 5 numbers left. So. No, it's never been an issue. But I'd say that memorable would be the first one, because it was just we did it. We pulled it off.
Was there any struggle? I mean, putting up the reverse raffle every year.
No, no, I don't think so. Once the venue, then the Holiday Inn, they kind of knew what to expect. They kind of had the whole way that we put it together kind of down in their mind, so it was easy to lay out. Some of the choice of food. What food do we have? Do we try to mix that up? And we did that a few times. We tried the buffet line. That was a disaster. The way we did it was actually, we still do that, but I meant to say, we had a sit down, and that was a disaster.
Oh, yeah.
It was forever. We knew that was a mistake. So, if you've got a good venue where the chef is on top of it and they put out good food normally every day anyway, and the country club does.
Before you start an event, do you normally taste test the food, or?
No, we don't. That's a good question. No, we're just so confident in the menu and what we pick out, what we select, and we don't try to get too crazy with mixing that up too much. And they help tell us what they can do that is going to make it. And they always assure us the quality of the food is going to be good. And we've gotten, I hear rave reviews from the food at the country club, and how it's presented, and it's very formal, and tablecloth. I mean, it's you're at a nice event, and you should be able to say that and feel that, because it's $100. But when you consider the fun of it all, and the chance to win $10,000, and the food, and the whole evening as a whole, then it becomes a very good bargain at the end of the day.
Well, we would like to commend you, because it's a really good event.
Well,
I mean, I've been there once, and we've been coming back.
Yeah.
And even the older people of the parish, and I mean, it's a nice time to enjoy and have a good food and good company, and have a good time.
It is. We've been blessed with this working for us. It's work, but it still takes all of us together to make it happen. Even just, I guess what I mean by that is, we know it's going to happen. We know it's going to be a success. But the way we enjoy that night, just like you're saying, that's a big part of it. I mean, if everybody feels good, and there's only going to be 1 to 5 winners as far as the cash price is concerned. But I think we want to all try to be winners by coming and being a part of it and supporting it. And so the people outside the parish that come, I mean, I think they get a treat. They they get to see, and they're usually with friends probably of the parish maybe.
Well, the venue is good. It gives you a good reason to dress up, and and then you mingle, and at the same time you have fun. I mean, just mingling with other people.
Right. It's got all of the components of
a successful night, really.
And the concept is good. I mean, you know, the reverse raffle is, you know, you wish you're not. You know.
Yeah, this is one time you don't want your number pulled out.
Yeah.
You want it to stay in the drum room.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah, that's a good concept.
Yeah.
Now, with all the reverse raffle, what draw your family to St. Margaret Mary? I mean, with all its changes and stuff like that. Mm-hmm.
Well, this is home.
Mm-hmm.
It would be the best description that I would give for this space outside of our home, obviously. Mm-hmm. It's truly a family of people that you just sense that it is family, that they care, that we care. And so it's fun to come here, I guess. And you know, when people come in from out of town to visit us, we make it here, and that's a treat, because you know, this is a nice place to show off, if you will. And we're not here to show it off, but we're here to show how we worship as a community together. And I think that guests of ours see that. We just had guests here just earlier this month from Paducah and Mayfield, Kentucky. And of course, Father Dan did the homily. He was here that day. And wow. They walked out shaking their head.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. So, you know, it's just a great place to be a part of.
So what's your most memorable, like, church event, or, like, you know, are you active with the picnic and stuff like that?
Well, we attend the picnic. I've been a part of that, you know, cleanup, setup kind of thing. You know, Parish Council I've been on and off a number of times. The Finance Committee I've been on and off a few times. You know, I think the fun, the excitement of being here is to be a part of it, to participate. Yeah, and I think, like many have talked about on, you know, giving, putting together tithing and worship and
sharing talent.
yeah, is time and talent. I've heard it said many times. In fact, this year, you know, just getting involved with one thing one time, and you're sold, so to speak. So yeah, it's easy to get involved. All you got to do is just stand up and step up.
Get your butt out of the.
So, yeah, right. Yeah, it's you don't have to be. I never felt like I had to be here when it's all started, or my parents or grandparents. Boy, you know, I'm following their. No, here there were enough implants, if you will, into this parish, even back in the 70s. I mean, my gosh, the Filipino community is a perfect example of that. You know, that population has grown, and thank God it has. And so when you can feel like that you don't have to wait to fit in, that you already fit in, then that's what the people are all about. And that's the people then and still today make it that way, make you feel that way. So I think it's easy today to say yes. But you got to say yes.
Yes, you got to say yes.
You got to say yes.
Now, what do you want to see more of in the church?
Oh, gosh. Well, we would all like to see more young people in the pews, let's be honest. I think that's a goal that every part of this parish recognizes and tries to work toward. You know, you hate to be complacent and think, well, you can't improve anywhere. But boy, there's a lot of things that would be hard to improve on here because it's happened. So, but probably maybe younger
generations,
younger people
more,
trying to come more.
And that's just a constant work in progress, I think.
My last question would be, what is your hope for the future of St. Margaret Mary?
My hope would be that it never goes away.